Well, come here, Peach. Come on, Peaches. Come here, baby. Well, come here. Come here, Peach. Well, come on. Oh, you want me to pet your head? The Peaches wants me to pet the head. Is that what the Peach wants? Hmm. Hello, Peaches. You need your nails done now. Yes, you do. You got away with it. Well, we thought you were gonna not be with us anymore, but now you're here. And you're being a Peach. 2, 2, 2. Let's see if I can get all this stuff set up. Hello, there's the Peach. Peaches? Peaches. What you doing, Peach? What you doing, Peach? It's definitely a hot day. Good afternoon, Lineup. I hope I'm saying that right. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Falcon Sue. And thank you very much, too, by the way. Thank you for that. And there's the peach. Is that a peach? Is that a peach? It's a peach? It is? Are you a peach? Huh? Peaches. Peaches. She's doing great. The rabbinic cockatoo anti-inflammatory that works with birds that have a Bornavirus. There are at least 6. There may be more. We don't know specifically which one she's got, but we'll go into all the details on how we got here and why she's doing better. Right, Peach? Yes, I know. Preen me, preen me. I know all about that. Peaches. Peaches. Hey, what are you doing? Peach, turn around. Well, turn around. She doesn't know you guys are here. She's used to seeing people, so, and talking to them. And you can't do that on YouTube, can you? No. So she likes FaceTime or Google Meet or Zoom or something where she can actually see and talk. Peaches, come here, you big toad. Come here. Come on. Just come here. Oh, you don't want to, huh? Peach's attitude. Is that what we got today? Peach's attitude. Yeah, it looks like she's going to be okay. We still have some more visits to go for, but I'll have to go for another visit in about 3 weeks. See, or if something else develops. But right now, she's just being Peach. What are you all turning away from everything for? Peaches. Peaches. Oh, she's playing the whole ignore me thing now. Hi, Karsay. Hello. And if I can do that in my Bella Lugosi voice, good evening. Peaches. She's got all these little feathers I need to do. She's trying to get me to preen, is what she's trying to do. Aren't you, Peach? Yeah, it's a big change. I mean, she went from being near death, just no energy, sleeping all the time, to now she yells when she wants something and she's getting demanding. She has certain ways she wants me to hold her. In other words, we're back to Peach. Lots of bouncy, bouncy girl. Hi, Christy. She does a lot of bouncy, bouncy girl right now. Be sure to hit the like button. That way we might be able to get more people in here. Right, Peach? Peaches. I'll have to stop petting her. She won't come around. Peaches. Oh, Peaches. Hey, Peach. I'll talk to another. Hey, Jasmine. Jazz. Let's see if I can get. Oh, you guys, I moved Sugar too. Reverse the screen here. I put her in a. She likes to be in one spot. I moved her, and now you'll actually get to see her doing something. This is. You think she's just a statue, but she's not. She's preening right now. That's the sugar bird preening. I just put Lucy where she usually sits and put her up there where Salamander likes to sit if he's not on the rope. So see, that isn't a statue or a stuffed bird. That's actually a sugar bird. It's noisy in here with the air conditioner, but it's 100 degrees outside. This room without an air conditioner will get up to about 125 in the summer. And that is Jasmine. Hi, Jazz. Hello. Peaches. Hey. Hello. Oh, now you're going to say hello. Hello, Peach. Oh, no worries, Amy. Hello, Kiara. Sure, I'd like to see a picture of the peach. She's she makes a good study, this one. She's a glamorous girl, aren't you, Peach? Are you playing hard to get? Hi, Peaches. Hi, Peaches. Yes, Cause is down here. Well, come on anyway. Come on over. Well, come on. Oh, yeah, uh-huh. You're going to do that, are you? Getting awfully demanding in your old age there, kid. Yeah, you are. You make a good study, don't you? Yeah, a good model, huh, Peach? Get in your glamour mode. Come here. Well, come here. Well, step up. Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, did I upset the Peach who didn't want to come down? I'll put you back up there if you want. Do you want to sit back up there? Hmm? Oh. You can sit back up there if you want. You don't have to sit here. You don't have to. All right. She's wavering back and forth, which means she did not want me to put her there. Yeah, I know. I know. You're telling me off. I know. How dare I put you where you didn't want to go, huh? Okay. Peaches. She's funny now. She'll sit there and act like that, and then the second she goes into her cage, right over to the food, she'll eat some, then climb up and start playing with her hanging toy. Or she'll grab a foot toy and get in the corner with it, but it's an amazing change. She was just in terrible shape. And then once the doctor figured out what was going on, which wasn't easy because I'll go through that in a few minutes, see how many more people we can get in here, and I'll explain what happened. But you have to go through and you have to rule things out, right? So he went through the process of ruling out what it could be and then finally figured it out. So a lengthy process. And about halfway through it, she was looking pretty sad. The doctor and I were talking about what to do, and he said that at this point, most of his clients would simply say to put him down because she was just a miserable bird, just in terrible shape and sleeping all the time and hurting and bleeding. And but I wanted to keep trying to see if we could figure it out, which of course he did too. But he wasn't going to. He wasn't going to try to milk us for money. That's not the way he works. Um, so So he told me what the options were and how much it was going to cost. And I said, it's not really an object here. We just have to see if we can get her around this. Right, Peach? Peach is, you look like you're asleep over there, but you're not. Her eyes are wide open. What are you doing? Peach is. Peach. Hey, talking to you. She's probably still upset that I picked her up. She didn't want to come over here. She wanted to sit up here. Didn't you? Didn't you? That's what you wanted, wasn't it? You didn't want me to pick you up. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's got that old look she always used to get on her face. Yes, we would love to see that picture. Hi, Susie Q. Yeah, this is if she's upset because I did something she didn't want to do. She'll first thing she did was get up here and rock back and forth, and that's her. I didn't like that. And then now when I look at her, she turns her eyes away from me. Jazz. And she doesn't know you guys are there. So if she did, if she could see you, it'd be different. She'd be ignoring me and talking to you, but wouldn't you, Peach? Oh, don't flick your feathers at me. Don't flick your feathers at me. You nutcase. What are you doing? Oh, you want me to preen you? Yeah, it figures. See if we can get anything out of that uropageial gland. Yep. She can't reach her own uropageial gland, and you don't want it to get swollen, so you have to release it. Get that oil out of there. Oh, Don dot. Let's see. That's probably easiest to say. Don.scott@icloud.com. The other one is Father Don at chloesanctuary.org, but that's kind of long. Hi, Salim. Yeah, she wants me to preen her now, is what she wants. Which, if she knew there was a public watching, she would not be asking me to preen her, but she gets these feathers that get impacted and she can't work them. She can't, because of her 6 fused vertebrae in her neck. She can't do any of this. So she'll turn around when she wants me to start preening the areas she can't get to. And actually, she can't get to much. She can't, she can get a little bit on between her primaries and secondaries, a tiny bit on her chest, and that's about it. Everything else I got to do. Right, Peach? Well, thanks, Michelle. We can definitely use it. Oh, no problem. Uh, One of these days I'm going to get my text expander to work here. I don't think it will, though. Let's try it. Oh, that's not going to work. That might work. We'll try this. Nope. I'm trying to type and green, it's not working. Hello there in Utah. Bacon check. Peaches. You know, getting your tail end preen on people are going to get the wrong idea. She cannot preen her own tail, and she gets impacted feathers. So she actually can't reach very far with her neck because she has fused vertebrae there. You know, they normally these guys have incredibly flexible necks with 27 vertebrae, but she can't do that. So I have to do it, and then she will turn around like this so I can preen these feathers because they bother her. They get the sheaths don't open up because they don't open by themselves. You got to open them, and she can't do it. Okay, I'm going to ignore you for a minute, and then maybe I'll get more attention. You turn around. Hmm? Sure. A question about prolapses? Go for it. Right, Cause? Cause, why don't you sit up here? Hmm? Uh-huh. Now you're going to tell me. Uh-huh. I'm not supposed to stop? Peaches, you're public. You really don't want to get preened in public, do you? Hmm? Cause, over here then. Silly bird. Yep. Thanks, Amy. Cause, you broke a feather here, kid. Broke a tail feather. Peaches. You're being stubborn, Peach. Peaches. It's not that common. Prolapsing is one of those things we don't know why they prolapse. We have theories, and the theory I adhere to is two things: lack of exercise, because the only exercise these guys get is when they fly. And there was a paleobiologist who was studying how birds developed flight, and in his experiments, along with the whole team, of course, a bird gives about 10%, no more than 10% of its energy output until it flies, and then the metabolism and everything go up to 100%. So that's like sitting in a wheelchair. you're basically sitting in a wheelchair if you're not flying. So you don't have the expenditure of energy that like we would get from running or something. They have to fly to do that. So the other thing is diet. So if they don't get enough moisture in their diet, if you watch the way parrots drink, they put their head down there and then they have to lift it up. I think a lot of these birds in the wild are lifting their heads and catching rainwater, dripping off leaves and stuff. So they're used to either getting it from a waterfall or it's catching it dripping off leaves. So the fact that they have to bend down and lift up, and then if they're on pellets, now pellets are good, but the thing that pellets don't have is moisture, and they can't make it. I've actually checked with some of the manufacturers. Harrison said they just can't do it. In order to make a wet type of mixture, where you have like the soft food you give the dogs and cats, um, you'd have to put a whole bunch of preservatives, and that's not good for these guys. You can't do that. So it's food and exercise. Um, there's a slight tendency for males to get it more than females. You'll hear the line that people will say it's because of egg production, but there's no evidence for that. It's males and females both get it, and males are slightly more likely to. So that's not what you'd expect, but that's what we have in the research that's been done on it. So we will never know absolutely. I yeah, I will let you know if I got that, Kiara. I can't get to my email from here though, just yet. Well, maybe I can. Let me take a quick look. Oh, cute. Yes, I see it. Thank you so much, Kiara. It's a peach. How much is her medication? As in the amount? Both amounts. She gets 0.35 milliliters injected into her chest muscle every 3 days, and it's $70 an injection. Right, Peach? We're not going to talk about injections? Oh, now you walked away from me. Peaches, come over here. Peach, come on, Peach. Peaches. Oh, you're just going to ignore me? See, before she would be asleep, her eyes would be half closed all the time. Yeah, I know. You have your own wants now, don't you, baby? Hi, Peach. Hello? Hello? Oh, have you forgiven me now? Hmm? Have you? Have you? Huh, Peach? Now we might be able to reduce the. Whoops, I'm missing some messages here. Well, as far as prolapses, there's no official treatment for it, other than to sew it up. There's a cloacopexy where they just take and sew up the outer portion of it because the outer section of the cloaca becomes loose. Okay, the tissue becomes soft. So what happens is it just starts to release. So what they'll do is they'll put a couple of stitches in it to tighten it up. That's where Bob's been since 2012, somewhere in that range. And but what Dr. Jenkins suggested was giving him more moisture in his food. So what I do is I make a mash, no wheat in it because he seems to react to wheat. But I make a mash, and he gets wet food only until the end of the day when he gets dry food. So he's basically eating wet food almost all day long, and make sure they get enough water and try to give them wet food, preferably a mash. something that's mixed up with vegetables and pellets that are mixed into it and that kind of thing. So, and then it's easier to pass, so you're not putting the stress on the cloaca. So, well, you're welcome, Bacon Check. A lot of this is in talking to Dr. Jenkins. I actually think I do have we have a video on prolapses as well, which I did with Dr. Jenkins. It's one of the early videos. You'll find it way at the beginning. Probably number 11, number 12, somewhere in that range. I don't number them anymore, so that'll help. But the diet, if you can get them more exercise, get them in an aviator harness, fly them around. You can get these long leashes for it, so you can fly them in a circle, that kind of thing. If you can get them exercise every day, that's going to help too. So, but getting that, like I say, he only gets a mash, and there's a lot of vegetables and fruit. And there's some oats in there, and quinoa, and pellets. What am I forgetting? That's about it. But it's worked. Well, it seems to have worked for Bob. It's totally anecdotal, though. It's not like we tried it on 100 birds. It's just when he developed this problem, the first thing that I did was to talk to Dr. Jenkins about it and come up with a solution. So, in this case, what are you doing over there? Peaches. Peach. Come on, Peaches. Peach. Reminds me of the singing frog. You remind me of the singing frog, Peach. The old cartoon where the frog sings and the guy says, "Oh, I'm going to put it on stage and make a bunch of money." And then he puts the frog on stage and it goes ribbit. She's been bouncing up and down in her cage and yelling for me to come and bring her stuff and wanting more toys. And now she's just sitting there. Of course, this is the sleepy time of day, but Peaches. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to go to sleep. Peach. All right. We'll wait for you to decide to come back over. Yeah. Yeah, Falcon Sue. She definitely is. I shouldn't have put her on my chest. She didn't want me to do it, and I did it anyway. And now she's just being standoffish. She also looks like she might be a little tired. She was bouncing around all morning, so I have some raw video I'm going to put up in the membership area of her, unedited, just Peachy being Peaches. I also took some video using my webcam and a screen recorder day before yesterday, and I still have to go through and edit that, but because that's an hour and a half long, so we're not putting that up. Oh, let's see. I can show you the other bird everybody thinks is a statue. And as you can see, Sugar is not a statue. I got my foot under the thing. Here we go. She's not a statue. Yeah, I was actually talking to someone who said she couldn't give her bird injections. I don't want to hurt my bird. It's like, well, if you have a choice between your bird being alive or your bird or being sick and getting an injection, why would you go to the vet? You're going to go to the vet every 3 days, sit there and possibly expose your bird to, disease because there are other birds there. Um, Pay an office visit and $70 for a shot. Yeah. Okay. It's not like it's that hard to give injections. Um, Probably a little easier on parrots because you're just looking for that keel bone, and then you move to the side of the keel bone about a half an inch, and then you just, you know, slowly inject it. You don't want to push it in fast or anything and come out that way. But thank you for the super chat, Amy. Appreciate it. Virtual fries for sugar. Yeah, that sugary bird. As you can see, she's still got that one spot, that spot on her right side where she had attacked herself. She's still on a slightly elevated dose of haloperidol, but with her, she's hit that spot twice recently, so she hadn't done that in a long time. But she's probably finding a way to keep some of it in her beak and spit it out. I spend a good 5 minutes with her every morning and night when I give her the meds. But right, sugar? Yeah, at least you looked at me. Peaches is ignoring now. Peaches is asleep now. She seems okay sitting on that perch, so. Looking at the messages here. Yeah, Peach's injection is it's an anti-inflammatory that works with bornaviruses, and the most well-known bornavirus, I should say, the one that the disease that's caused by a bornavirus is PDD. They've got another fancy name for it I can't think of now, but that particular disease is horrible. But apparently now with the rabbinic cockatoo, they can keep it under control. Um, We have no idea. Peaches does not have any of the symptoms of that except for a swollen proventriculus and stomach area. Normally, they will have all of their organs slightly swollen, but she doesn't have that. And they also tend to pass when they eat something. If they eat something like a seed, it will pass through as a seed. It doesn't digest normally. She doesn't have any of those issues. So, oh well, you can say Donna Bond. Oh, well, it's kind of like James Bond, right? Yep, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of varieties of bornavirus. Um, all of them will do something to birds. Of course, PDD is one, and they can't target it. They don't know which one causes it. Maybe more than one. So, but she's getting the injections that work for that. They work against those particular types of viruses. So it makes her so energetic. You can see. I mean, she looks like she's asleep, but okay. So here's how it went. I took her in. She was lethargic. she was starting to have uh, blood come out of her cloaca with her feces. And so the first thing the doctor did was, to answer your question, Donna, we don't know. Some of them end up needing an injection once a year. Some of them need to have it every 3 days forever. Some of them can go for a few months or a few weeks without an injection. It's basically, she's going to be on 5 more injections, and then it's wait and see. And if the problem starts to come back, if I see any blood in her poop, if I see her start to get sleepy again, I take her down and we get another series. And we see if we can space it out. So we're going to look at that initial lag and see if we can do an injection and wait 2 weeks and then an injection. If the stuff wasn't $70 a shot, she'd probably be getting a shot every 3 days for the rest of her life. But no, Don, it's not like a vaccination. It's an anti-inflammatory. And it's specifically, it's the only one that will specifically cause the distension of the stomach and the proventriculus to reduce. And it does that in about 1/3 of the cases. So we're lucky she responded to it. But so the first thing he did is he did a speculum. He looked up in there, did x-rays. Now, because her stomach is distended, the x-rays, it looked in the x-rays as if there were polyps, because what he found there were these little growths that could be cancer. Goodbye, Kiara. Thanks for coming. Appreciated seeing you here today. So, he took a couple of snippets of it, which is easy because it was kind of soft anyway. So he just basically used medical tweezers to pull them out. And then x-rays. Now, the x-rays looked as if these papillomas were going up through her colon. And then that's what he thought he saw. So he sent it to his expert radiologist. And the radiologist came back and said, yeah, it looks like she's got these going all over through her colon. So at that point, we got back the information saying she didn't have cancer. So that was when he asked me, basically said, do you want to continue with this? But she's looking pretty bad. What do you want to do, right? I said, let's go on. So then he took and did a barium study, which is to push barium through her. He kept her overnight, actually for 2 nights, but he pushed the barium through and then took x-rays to see how things were moving. And when he did that, there were no polyps in her colon. It was clear. There was nothing there. So at that point, it was time to do the DNA test to see if maybe she had a coronavirus. So that test showed she did. So at that point, he put her on abinacoxib to see if that would cause that whole area to de-inflate, which it did. It shrank down. It went down, and her appetite went up. Now, the reason for that is if you have a distended stomach, it's harder to pass food through it, so things back up in the crop and you don't eat as much, right? So with things moving through there normally, she started eating like there's no tomorrow. So the next step after this is to watch, right? And he's also going to look to see if all of those growths are going to go away. What the growths are, Donna, is they're viral, kind of like herpes. You know how people get things like shingles and that kind of thing that gets into your system, your nervous system, and then it comes out. So if your immune system, for some reason, isn't working well, your immune system is down, then these things will come out. So with her immune system snapping back and her getting her activity level back, he's hoping that they'll just go away on their own. Now, it doesn't mean that they've gone. It just means they've backed off into her system, kind of like shingles do, or chickenpox, basically, right? Or herpes. Those are all forms of herpes. There's a lot of different ones. So basically, it'll go into remission, and then if her immune system goes down, it'll come back. So, yeah, and normally, I mean, these things can happen. You can get the viral papillomas, but um, the way they look like they would be cancerous. They weren't. So the solution here is to keep her immune system high. That's a nice question. I wish I could answer it. It's probably they are, but then again, she's probably had it since she got here. We have had almost no exposure to anyone outside, and anytime I've been around birds, I've always done the cleanup so that there's no way I could the clothes go in the washing machine with special cleanser and all that stuff, and you take a shower right away and that kind of thing. So she hasn't been exposed to anything really that could have brought it to her. So she's probably had it dormant in her system, whatever it is. So we don't know. We don't know if any of the other birds will show this. But about 1 in 3 birds have some kind of bornovirus. So if you got 12 birds, you're at a sanctuary. The odds of you having a bornovirus there are pretty good, unfortunately. So basically, we're doing a waiting game. We're going to go back um, after she's run out of the drug. I have 5 doses left every 3 days. So we're talking going about 3 weeks from now. We'll be going back to Dr. Jenkins, and he'll do another look at her, and then we'll go back probably either if she shows signs or once a month, something like that, for a visit where he can take a look. Because we don't want those things to start growing and to move further up. So if they don't reduce in size, which I think they have because they're not bleeding anymore, um, if they if they don't start moving farther up towards the colon, then we'll be fine with her. So it looks like the rabinococcus is going to do it, but you never know. Peaches, do you want to come over and say hi to anybody? If you could hear them, you would, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. She is so social. There's no way she wouldn't come over here and start talking. You should see her when we have one of our patron meetings where we're doing the online thing, and like we use Google Meet, sort of like Zoom, but she comes over, wants to hog the camera and talk the whole time, and she's the most social thing. Peaches. Uh-huh. Yeah, all I had to do is put her on my chest, and now she's like, I'm going to stay over here. And I can't even focus on another bird and expect that to help. Gesundheit, what are you sneezing for? Oh, you're in front of the air conditioner. That'll do it. So I've had to deal with Sugar's problem where she's gone after herself a couple of times. Sugar, are you chewing up the? Yeah, yeah, you got to see that. This is the bird that doesn't. Everybody thinks doesn't do anything, but now she's acting more like herself. Oh, thank you so much, Ruth. Appreciate that super chat. Thank you for the donation. If you had to deal with her shoulder, basically that's what it is. It's like a shoulder on her. I'm just using the layman terms. Twice now in the past, 4 months. try to get her dosage where she acts. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I can't pet your beak when you're up there. Dealing with this one, she started plucking when the sun comes up. Oh, excuse me, that's why I'm yawning. I have to get up before the sunlight, no matter what time I go to bed, because if I don't, this one's going to pull her chest feathers out. So, Lucy, Lucy, oh, it's her time of day to sleep. Much appreciated. Yeah, got our van, which has all of our emergency cages in it and stuff, is at the shop right now, and went in for an air conditioning recharge. But okay, I'm driving a Dodge van, but it's one of these ProMasters, which they talk about how how some of the like the Japanese or the Chinese or whatever will steal technology. Well, this is just the other way around. This is a vehicle that has basically stolen Japanese technology. So you can't take it to a regular shop. In fact, I called Dodge, and there's some things they can do, but they don't even want to see it. They don't have anybody there that can work on it. So I have to go to a place that does like foreign cars, right? So I took it in, so I needed an air conditioning recharge and a tire rotation. Then I said, "Can you?" This I've never gone there before, and and I said, "Can you do a vehicle inspection?" And the guy looks at me and he kind of smiles and he goes, "When we receive a vehicle, we always do a test drive and a vehicle inspection. There's no charge. We do that automatically." When you're dealing with things like Ferraris and Jaguars and Mercedes Benz, you don't. I mean, there's a certain customer expectation that you're going to do these things, right? You don't have to ask for them. I had just forgotten that. So apparently, even though I had that electric fence around there, apparently one mouse had found a way in and out of my electric fence. So they had to clear out nests inside the darn van again, although they weren't as bad as before. I mean, there was just a few of the nests, and there was only one dead animal in there. But then they found a problem with the compressor, and they had to fix that. Now, when you go to one of these, oh, thank you so much, Donna. Thank you for that super chat. We really need it right now. And so it's like they take pictures of whatever they find, right? So they've got pictures of anything they find in there. And I had told them that I had a problem with the evaporative system because I have a Scantron, just a little thing you hook up to your vehicle and it tells my phone what's wrong. And it said that it was a problem with the evaporative system, basically the line that goes from the engine back into the gas tank. And so I mentioned that to them. They said, "Well, you have something on your Scantron picked up a problem." I said, "Yeah, I know it has to do with the evaporative system." And they called me back. Now I'd had this worked on before to fix. They fixed most of these wiring problems. They go, "Nope, it wasn't the evaporative tube. It was actually the sensor wire." So my last mechanics missed that. So they're fixing all that up, and so I'm without a vehicle. So I had to rent. I can't be without a vehicle. I mean, a vehicle is too small to get all these birds out of here if there's a fire, unfortunately. I couldn't rent a van. This is a like out of the way place, and they didn't have any vans available at all. So I've got this little mid-sized vehicle out there that I can cart a bird to an emergency with. You can't be vehicleless. There's no way. So you'd never know she's doing better, Christy. Yes, thank you. I didn't even know about the feature you're talking about, Donna, until about a couple of months ago when I started realizing I was going to have to find some other way to help fund us because some of our funding is dried up. It's really hard to get grants when you don't rehome. I was telling one of the places I was applying for a grant I wrote back and they said, well, you don't rehome birds, so we don't give grants to those kind of facilities. I wrote back, I said, do you ask people who have porcupines to rehome them? These are wild animals. They may be tame, but they're wild animals, and putting them in homes with people who don't know what they're doing is dangerous for the bird and for the people. Um, they did let me explain that, though, and they kind of got what I said, but they have to go with whatever their rules are, right? So I said, if a bird becomes bonded to you because you don't know what you're doing and you're petting them improperly, you will see me do that with peaches. You will see me do that with sugar sometimes. Any bird I'm mated to, and it doesn't matter. I'm not going to spur anything by preening them improperly because I'm already mated to them. And peaches I have to do because I have to do with feathers. I said, I gave him the example of up in Los Angeles. There was a guy who had a blue and yellow macaw. They call him a blue and gold here. That's strictly a sales thing, trying to, so they can sell more at the pet shop. But he had a blue and gold macaw, and two people broke into his house, right? So they're beating him up. So the macaw did what it would do to protect its mate in the wild. It just went over there and removed an eye. And bonk, just gone. And if you've got birds, this is probably not going to happen to you because, you really have to be pretty. It's one thing to like run over and hug someone who has a bird in the house. That might get you a reaction. But when you're beating up on the person, then that bird's going to go into a full on attack, right? But these are things people don't think of. You know? So yeah, they're tame, but they all have the wild in them. And yeah, sensitive. Yeah, this, when you say that, Donna, this is how sensitive they are. When I was taking my training, first training with Dr. Friedman, we were watching videos of different trainers working, and you have to be careful. And I saw a trainer make a mistake, but it didn't, it still worked, but he was working with a yellow-crowned Amazon. And this Amazon was known for, I had one here too, yellow-crowned, known for attacking people, right? So he's training it to step up. And he's holding a stick it was peanut butter like I use. He has a little stick with peanut butter. It's a craft stick. And he had put his finger like this, and then he realized he was too close, okay? Let me turn this around so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so he had fingers like this, the parrot's over here, and he had this too close so the parrot could just reach over and get the peanut butter. So what did he do? He pulled his finger back. You can't do that. But he still made it work. But when you put your hand there, if you accidentally get too close, just leave it there. They will remember that you're not honest. You're offering something, but now you're taking it away. Yeah, that's how sensitive they are. Or like the time that Chloe wouldn't, back in the early days, Chloe would not shut up. She was just giving the alarm call. Rah, rah, rah. It was the Rumford baking powder that I had out. She didn't like the color red. Put it up, sound stopped. So, yeah, they have incredible eyes too. They could see you forming a zit on your forehead at 1,000 yards, and then they can see the capillaries because they see into the ultraviolet. That's why people who pretend that they're not afraid, but they are, they can't pass with these guys. You can't do it because they can tell by your skin. They can see the blood on your skin from the fear. They can see it. So that does not work with Bob. Don't try to fake that you're not afraid. He won't necessarily bite you. He's not really a big biter, but it's pretty rare for him to do that. But what he will do is stare you down, and it's actually, I'd rather be bitten than be stared at like that. He doesn't do it to me anymore, but it's pretty frightening. Oh no, the bird went after the intruder, one of the intruders. Yeah. In the wild, what will happen if there's a fight? And it doesn't happen often. This is a rare thing. What happens is if there's not enough females and there's too many males. That rarely ever happens. And a male loses his mate and then tries to butt in on another relationship. That's about the only time they'll really go to fight to the death. Yeah. And the first, I'm joking here. I didn't bring any water in, but the first thing they go for is the eyes. So I bring that up because there's just so much to know about these guys, and to just rehome them to somebody who says, like one woman told me, she said, "Well, I don't know why I have to come to any classes." This is back when we used to do that. Right? She goes, "I don't know why I have to come to any classes. I had an African gray for 8 years." And without missing a beat, I said, "Well, I've been driving a car for 40 years, but that doesn't mean I'm an auto mechanic." Um, and everyone's got slightly different behavior, right? So, as my first teacher said, every bird is a study of one. So, if you're not well versed in their behavior, the manual of parrot behavior is the ultimate. If you get that and you read that, you're going to understand them. That won't teach you how to work with them. Doesn't have any. It has a little bit of information on like ABA, bird training. You need like Animal Training 101 online course is the best way to learn that. The book is there too, but you better be an academic if you're not going to watch the actual video. Um, if you don't know what they do in the wild and how being in captivity affects them, which Manual of Parrot Behavior has a great section on that. And it's written by different authorities, okay? It's all backed up by research, so it's not just meh. The only thing in that book I found was a little weak, and it was because it was old information, was about feather destructive behavior. Although if you go in the pharmacology section and you look up Haldol, it says, this is the drug. Not in those words, but it says, this is the number one choice you want to use if you're dealing with mutilators or feather destructive behavior. So if you're not backed up with that and you don't know how to train an animal, these guys will train you. In fact, Peaches right now has been training me to pet her, and she just comes over and gives me a puppy dog look, like, "Oh, I don't feel well." And now she's gotten to where she just uses that against me. Peaches, are we still sleeping? We're still sleeping. And then as soon as this YouTube event is over, she will start running around and wanting me to pet her, and she'll be singing. I've got some videos of that I got to clean up because I just raw video showing you what she's been doing. But she's actually been a real pleasure to be around because she's actually trying to irritate me, and I just start laughing. You know. See what I've got over here. Yeah, and if you're gonna, if you, hi Eleanor. Well, that's my fault. I didn't realize it either. I forgot I moved it to Saturday, but it's been a crazy week. For one thing, as you get older, these trips on the road are not much fun. So I have to somehow engineer it so I can get at least 6.5 hours of sleep, so I don't fall asleep going all the way from here down to San Diego proper and all the way back, and then stop and get coffee or something to keep me awake, and then I mean having to give injections and then trying to. There's just been a lot of extra stuff I've had to do. Um, Michelle, that would be great. A GoFundMe page. I probably should do that. Um, it's the medical bills, and just right now, I just need what we need more than anything else is people to join as patrons, or at patreon.com/Chloe Sanctuary. Hi there, girl. Hello, Jazz. Or to sign up to be a member on YouTube so we get that monthly amount coming in, because one of our major donors used to make up the difference for us, but dementia took her. So, we knew that was going to happen sooner or later, but busy is as busy does. So, with all these birds to care for and the pandemic making it nearly impossible, I can't really bring in a volunteer to clean or anything. I have to do all the work myself. I may have to do that soon, but no one knows how long these booster shots are going to last, and the virus is mutating. So, what do you want? All right, hold on. Come here. Now I'm going to get the evil eye from sugar. Venmo. Yeah, I haven't done anything with that. I'll have to look into it. I'm a geek, so I will definitely do that. I'm sure that Amy will remind me about that. Thanks, Donna. Yes. Yeah, well, YouTube kind of does that automatically. They save it and then I publish it. Um, it actually loads onto the phone and then it has to upload. So if for some reason Google, which owns YouTube, screws that up and it doesn't get up there, then the video doesn't stay. But so far we've been lucky because the video gets recorded on the phone and then it gets uploaded. And unfortunately, there are 4 cameras on this phone, right? There's a wide angle, there's an ultra wide angle, there's a telephoto, and there's the one that faces me, right? Zoom only uses 2 cameras, the front facing camera and the back camera, the regular wide angle. And Google Meet only uses that, and YouTube only uses that. I mean, what are those extra cameras? I mean, it can't be that tough for them to put a camera switcher. Uh, yeah, I'll check out Venmo. I'm sure Amy will remind me of that if I forget, because sometimes I get kind of caught up. What do you want there, little girl? Show you what she's doing here. She is wanting attention. You want to show them what you do when you want to get petted? Oh, yeah, you do that too. She makes that little whining sound when she wants either for me to pick her up or she wants me to pet her. Or she'll lean over like this, come over to me. I will definitely do the Venmo thing. Yeah, I need to get some kind of steady income coming in to pay the bills. I've had everything hit me in 1 month. Here I'm trying to keep our bills to a bare minimum. I'm not going to cut their food or anything like that, but um, just trying to, pay the overhead here. And where we used to have, well, we've lost about $2,000 a month. Um, from a couple, that's that one supporter and a couple of others, that for physical reasons or whatever couldn't support us anymore. So, got to come up with a way. Don't want to get in debt again. When we had the fire back in 2010, I got, because of the move and all the other stuff I had to do just to get us relocated. Well, we got about 20,000 in debt. It took about 5 years to get out of it. You're paying all of those monthly fees. We don't want to do that again, do we, girl? We're not in debt yet. Still have some cash on hand, don't we, girl? You need to when you got these. I took one of the other courses I took a long time ago was from Fran Cannon, Cannon Training in San Diego. And I had asked him, I'm starting a nonprofit. This was in 2007, just before I formed the sanctuary. I said, Fran, starting a nonprofit, what's the number one thing I should do? He said, get every credit card you can. He says, because one of these days you're going to need the credit. He says, just use them to pay regular bills and keep them empty. But that day is going to come. Well, boy, was he right, because that was 2007. And in 2010, we had the fire. And if I hadn't had those credit cards, I wouldn't be talking to you. Cool. I will definitely do that, Donna. Any way to make it easy for people to help us out, because these guys take a lot of work. This one was a basket case when she got here. You know, the only thing they told me about Jasmine? Oh, don't let her get on your shoulder. She bites. She nibbles my ear once in a while. She gets in moods, but she's not a biter. She just misunderstood. But oh, for the first two weeks, okay. How Paradol is the method that you. Oh, thank you, Donna. Yeah, Patreon. Then when you join Patreon, you get to be in our. We have a workplace too, and since that when you join Patreon, you become technically a volunteer. So as a volunteer, you're a member of the Chloe Sanctuary. So that gives you some rights. You get to go over to our workplace, and we got a lot of fun stuff going on there and conversations, and everybody gets the first shot at things there. So, but this one, when I got her, she was hanging herself on the toys in her cage. Um, I'm not kidding. She was wrapping herself. Now, the way their necks are built, the chances they're going to actually choke. You know, they don't have an epiglottis or something like that that's going to cause them to choke. But I turn around and there she is hanging from her toys, and I have to untangle her. So I had to take all the hanging toys out and put nothing but foot toys in there. And I had to give her medicine 3 times a day. So she had to have it before the sun comes up, okay, around 2 in the afternoon, and then she had to have it around 8 o'clock at night. So I did that for 2 weeks. She was on a massive dose of the drug, and now she's just on a normal dose for her weight and everything. But with this one, I have to. She has they all have different issues, but she has the left side of her lower beak gets a point on it, okay, and it's fine for it to have a little bit of a loop like this on it, right? But if it gets too pointy on one side, then it'll cause the upper beak to deform. So I have to do that, and then I have to shorten her upper beak too, because the point of it will get too long. And if it gets too long, she can't use the beak to pick things up. So I have to do that. She's pretty good about drummeling. She she tells me she doesn't like it, but she lets me do it. Even Roman lets me do that, Romeo. But so each bird's got their specific things. Cause, a little cause over here. I have to work on her beak because it gets too long up on the front, and then there's some divots that end up in her lower beak, and you want to keep that a nice curve so that they can press up against that line they form in the upper part of their beak. They form a line in that upper beak so that they can press things into it and crush them. And if the bottom doesn't fit right, the worst one though is Lucy. Oh, that little one. She was at a so-called animal hospital, and they actually have the name Bird in. It's hard to believe they have the name Bird on their name, but they had flattened out her upper beak so badly that it was deformed, and then the lower beak had overgrown so much she couldn't even close her beak. Oh, she couldn't close her beak. Can you imagine that? And then they had the audacity when they got taken over by VCA to call me up and say that she had to be out of there that day when I take her. Of course, I took her. I mean, at the time, I didn't have room, actually, but I had to take her because I knew her and I knew what her situation was. So, yeah, Lucy on Sugar's Birch. Yep. No, I wanted someone to get more active. So they had the audacity to have somebody call me, and they know it when we take a bird in, we don't rehome them. So, I mean, there's been exceptions, If it's not a cockatoo, I will, and for some reason I had to bring it in, then I would rehome it, because a parrot in a land of cockatoos, they're not happy, because the cockatoos are like, who do you think you are? It's like the servants and the bosses don't get along well. I mean, just ignore the other bird. So, but anyway, they call up and like, oh, well, we have a relationship with her. And I'm thinking, I said, well, do you know what medical she needs? And they had no clue. But her beak was so obvious. Anybody who was an actual, yeah, see, she's more active up on that perch than she was on the other one. Lucy's acting about the same. Um, so they're basically telling me that they want to take her. And you know what they said? They said, we can bring some food over and you can approve of it. And I'm like, no, that's okay. I said, we're going to keep her. But okay, I'll put the camera on you. See, there's Peaches sitting there sleeping. What are you doing there, kid? What are you doing? Well, I'm not going to pet you down the back. That's what you're trying to get me to do. I'll pet your head. You had me going there for a minute. But I've never seen a beak that was that bad. I've got pictures of it somewhere, but way back. We've had her for a while, but you look at that beak and how could anyone let it get that bad? Now, I do have people sometimes tell me that the nails are too long, but you want a nail that has about a 90-degree angle on it. And the vets will cut it a lot shorter than that, but that's so that you don't have to bring them right back a week later. I do their nails every 2 weeks, usually on a rotation of doing one bird at a time, unless I get busy. So I'll do one bird each day, and that with 12 birds, that means they get it done at least twice a month. But sometimes I get busy and I can't, so I have to take one day where I bring them out and do their nails. So it's just easier to, you weigh them every day and do one bird. It's easy to do the weights, but when it comes to the nails, you have more to do. I'm sorry, did I scare you? I didn't mean to. I just moved my hand. I did. I did. Now this one's a great pleasure too. I didn't know she was going to make it though the first week. I'm like, oh well, I'm just gonna. She'd go 6 hours and then start chewing on herself. So I just said, okay, well she's going to get it 3 times a day, and she's not doing that anymore, are you? Who's on the couch with me? Let's say I have Jasmine, and on the other side is Kazi. That's Kaz. Kaz was in a hallway between a kitchen and a garage with another bird for 12 years, or so we're told. You never know whether to believe people, but I don't know why they'd lie about that. They said they didn't have time for them, so they just left them there. And they used to chew on each other. It was basically the Sweeney Todd thing, And as an aside, a bird that chews another bird's feathers is a barber. A bird that chews itself is a feather picker, which is the common term, or is feather destructive, which is the more scientific term. A bird that chews its own feathers is not barbering, because you don't go to the hair salon to watch your, the one who's going to do your hair, do their hair. You go there to have yours done. So in other words, one person is working on another person. So one bird is working on another bird. And that's what was Cause and Simone used to do that. Simone is with one of our former directors. Yeah, Simone's in New Jersey, so we haven't seen her. She's got some physical problems, but they're all being dealt with vets over there. So She's getting better. Let's put it that way. She was having some big problems, but she's been to see I don't know how many vets, and now they've got it down to a cocktail of drugs that seems to be working. What are you doing? How come you're so hyped up? What are you doing? Jazzy Jazz Bird. Now people will see why I call you the Jazzy Jazz Bird. You gonna start dancing? She'll start running around with her crest up and just, yep. But you just want to be petted right now, I know, but I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overdo it. That's something they'll use your distraction against you. So, just reading messages here. Okay, I haven't missed anything. Now, let's see. Just want to show you again that someone is not a fake bird. Yes, I'm talking about you, sugary bird. Are you the sugar bird? You are the sugar bird? Yeah, I'm using her iPad, and she knows it too. That's my iPad. It used to belong to Rome, and then he got his own 4-foot TV set. So, sugar. Now, the reason that patch has stayed brown on her is because when you get a wound like that, you put Silvadene on it, and that cream has a tendency to just to stain the feathers. And if there's any blood there, they'll get stained that color, and it's really hard to get out because the cream is greasy. An important point, don't put anything on the skin of a bird unless it's veterinary approved. I don't care what people tell you. They'll say use aloe vera or do this or don't do it. Their skin is really sensitive to anything that touches it. So unless it's approved by veterinarians, don't do it because it can cause their skin to break open and bleed. Most of the stuff we would put on our skin, a mammal's skin, will not go on them. And the Silvadene I get is specifically from a veterinarian. I don't like look for some less expensive way to get it. I make sure it's one that they use. So yeah, she knows it's her iPad. Sugar knows her iPad, so when she sees me using it, it's like this is not quite right. That is mine. See, she does tend to be more active on that perch. I think she likes the other perch better, but what are you doing, Sugar? Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Sugar. Hi, baby. Hello. Hello, Sugar. That's a pretty sugar bird. Oh, that's a beautiful sugar bird. Yes, it is. Hi, Sugar. Hi, Sugar. Yeah, she's still looking around like, this isn't where I usually sit. Hi, Sugar. Well, folks, I better spend some time with these guys alone. So, thanks to Eleanor and Amy for being here to help me with the moderation because I can't see everything. I'm trying to watch the birds too. So, oh, you guys didn't even notice because I didn't show you. Let's see. Salamander's been sitting up there the whole time. So the big boy is up there. Well, folks, thanks for coming. I hate to leave you, but I gotta deal with these guys. They're gonna want individual attention. So if I keep talking and not giving them attention, I'm already getting some of the up. Peaches is waking up, of course. Good timing, Peach. Good timing. Yeah, she's doing her wake up routine. Scratch the head. You don't know that you had people watching you and you were going to sleep. Silly girl. Yes, I know you want to be petted. Well, thanks again for coming. And things being all the same, we'll see you on Monday. Um, appreciate you guys showing up and the support too. So looking forward to seeing you guys again. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks again, Amy and Eleanor. And thanks for the super chats.